Hello, and welcome to the Footy Podcast. To benefit Here's Help. Here's Help is a nonprofit comprehensive rehabilitation and educational agency that's been providing treatment services in South Florida since 1968. For more information on Here's Help or Footy's podcast, you can contact us at 305-685-8201. If you need help or know someone who has a substance abuse or alcohol problem, you can call our admissions office at 305-685-8201, extension 224. If you'd like to make a cash donation to Here's Help and join the fight against drug abuse, call Footy at 305-685-8201, extension 227. Now, here's Footy.
Welcome to the Here's Help show. I'm Footy, and with me is Ron Hersey. This is our weekly podcast.
Usually we spend some time talking about what's going on here around the campus. I know a new chef has arrived. Chef Tracy was a great woman and a real
Sorry
inspiration.
To see her go.
Real inspiration to the kids.
But we got very lucky, and we landed a very, very competent chef. Very. He spent a lot of time in the military.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's and a nice guy, and he gets along with the guys. He's like, I don't know, it's like getting a bike turned over and you just start spinning the wheel again. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's doing a great job.
Cool. Well, that's cool.
And we're lucky to have him.
Well, you wouldn't think the military would cook such good food.
Well, I think he cooks for the generals.
Big difference.
Yeah, I think it's big difference.
It's like the difference between the hot dogs at the stands at the Marlins games or the hot dogs in the skyboxes at the Marlins games. Yeah. Big difference.
Yeah. You know, but baseball in general is really, at least for me, is lost its glamour. It's like, you know what I mean?
No.
Huh?
No, what do you mean?
Well, some ballparks you can put in, you know, a whole section. Some ballparks don't want anybody in there.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
It's really our whole world. This is really a good point. It has gone upside down because of COVID.
Oh yeah. I guess to that point, we've never had this before. So, you know, I guess it's kind of...
I wouldn't say that. When I was a kid, they were giving us shots all the time.
And
all the time.
I mean, that's why
I got to the point where I would just whip up my sleeve.
Right, here you go.
So, and they used to have pneumatic guns.
I remember the guns.
Yeah, boom, and shoot the thing in.
What, polio, and then was it smallpox that we used to get?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. But
I still have mine. Is that the polio? The gun?
No, I never got
the scar.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I'm impervious to scars.
Doesn't surprise me. You know, I think when the world comes to an end, I think the only thing left are going to be you and Keith Richards.
I don't know about that. I bet you I'm probably going to outlast him. What do you think?
Probably.
Yeah,
I don't know. The guy's got 9 lives.
Yeah, it's true. He's one of those guys.
And you know, I'm in a Rolling Stones band. We call ourselves Start Me Up.
Tell me about this, because I keep getting your
my emails, my pleas. We're a Rolling Stones tribute show. It's full on.
Who's we?
It's an 8-piece band called Start Me Up. And we have like a Mick Jagger, who's incredibly talented. It's amazing. I don't know how.
What the hell's he doing with you guys? I would be
lucky.
Suspicious of him right away.
I don't. Well, I was going to say I don't know what any of the guys are doing with me, because these guys are really.
What
tough
do you
shows.
do in the band?
I'm the Ron Wood. I play the Ron Wood character of the Stones. I'm the guitar player. That's not Keith. And it's full on costumes and wigs and like I said, Mark.
They put wigs on you?
Yeah, man. It's funny because I actually look more like Jeff Beck than I do Ron Wood. But
well, you see now that when I see that, I'm just going to die laughing.
Well, it's because you don't normally see me in a wig. The average person in Tampa doesn't know who I am anyway, so it doesn't really matter. That's what they tell me. So anyway, what I was saying is I do a lot of research. I watch a lot of Stones live concerts, and they're all on YouTube. But it's pretty sad when you look through some of their 70s performances, because that was when Keith was at his absolute worst heroin addiction, and it's so painfully obvious in the performance that.
Well, but how can you have a heroin addiction and be in a band? I mean,
well, they propped him up.
Opiates put you to sleep.
Yeah, they pretty much propped him up. There were songs that he was supposed to sing that Mick wound up singing for him, and there's actually some footage where he's supposed to do a song, he forgets how to start it, which is not good.
Why did they keep him around?
Because he's Keith, man.
What do you mean he's Keith?
He's
a heroin addict that falls asleep on the stage.
But he actually managed to kick it. And
to what?
He actually apparently managed to kick it. He's not addicted to heroin anymore. I think he's even given up cigarettes. But he is the most, I think he's one of the most iconic songwriters.
He's the guy that looks like my grandfather, right?
Could be, yeah. As opposed to Albert Lee, who looks like your grandmother.
Who's Albert Lee?
Albert Lee is a guitar player, a little British. He's about 5'2". And
these guys go back to the 60s, right?
Well, yeah. Well, Albert's amazing too, but yeah, he looks like a little grandmother.
What do you mean amazing? What is it?
He
plays electric guitar.
Well, Albert Lee is a little British kid who's devoted to a certain style, a country rockabilly, very fast guitar, finger picking style. He's so fast and so clean on the guitar. It's amazing. He played.
You guys are just crazy about that stuff.
Oh, guitar playing? Oh, absolutely. There's, I've been doing it since I was playing out when I was 15. Yeah, gosh, are you kidding? It's like the greatest thing ever. And anyway, the startmeupband.com is our website if you want to check it out. We are available for events, footy, like Bubbles and Bones.
Oh, I don't even know when we're going to have that this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's last year we had so many gigs. We were booked all over the state. Really cool gigs, and great venues, nice places, indoors, air conditioning, dressing rooms. And when the quarantine took a hold, they're just like dominoes. They just fell off the calendar. It was so sad to see. And we finally got momentum back up. We're getting booked again. We're booked all over the state, and now this thing is coming back.
Who goes to your shows?
Lonely people. No. People who are major Stones fans.
Yeah, but that's like going to a show with your grandfather.
Well, most of the audience is our age. I'll give you that. There aren't that many young people in the crowd, but that's the 60. What is it? 60 is the new 40. Is that the way it goes?
Where did you hear that?
I just made it up.
Oh.
Just repeat it frequently. No, our age group has a lot of income, and some of us are retired. And we have a lot of spare time, and tribute shows are a great entertainment value for your dollar. There's a
whole world
and if you pick a good band with a good catalog, every song was a major hit. That's the great thing about the Stones is every song we play was a huge hit, and you can actually hear when you start a song because Keith starts every song, which goes back to his songwriting mentality, which is totally different from any band, I think, ever, any rock band ever. Most bands, the drummer starts the song. The drummer counts off the song. Everybody watches the drummer. The drummer counts it off for everybody, and everybody starts with the drummer. In the Rolling Stones, Keith has written almost all of their songs, and so he starts playing first. If you think about most of the Rolling Stones hits, the first thing you hear is a guitar by itself. So Keith sets the speed of the song, and Charlie, the drummer, follows him instead of the other way around.
Who's Charlie?
Charlie Watts he just recently retired as the Stones drummer. He got very sick, and he's not going to make this next tour, which is kind of sad. So anyway, so that gives them kind of a locomotive feel to their drum beat and to other songs that other bands don't have. So that's the Rolling Stones mystique, is the fact that Keith writes the songs, so he starts the songs, so the drummer follows him, and it gives them a certain momentum that you don't hear with other bands. And if you listen to their songs, it's so amazingly obvious, and I'm sure it's something they just fell into. But Keith Richards is, I mean, to imagine what he's managed to put behind him and still perform. I just watched a documentary about him, and he is as crazy as he looks, and I'm sure he's not at the top of his game when it comes to health. He's still an amazing musician, unbelievable guitar player, just one for the ages. And I'm done with my rant.
No, but I mean, it's like I wouldn't know one guitar player from the next.
Well, you know, that's because you don't play any instrument, though, do you?
I did when I was a kid.
What'd you play?
Guitar and drums. You know, it's cool.
So you, yeah. Well, my dad was a guitar player, so there was always a guitar in the corner of the living room, and we always had all kind. My mom worked at a drugstore and brought home albums all the time. We listened to everything.
Your mother stole the album.
She stole the albums. So my mom was a larcenist. Yes. In fact, my parents were in the iron and steel business. My mom ironed, and my daddy would steal. But thanks for that trip down memory lane. Yeah. But no, there was always a guitar in the house, and we were always listening to Elvis and Hank Williams and all this guitar-based music.
My father played harmonica.
Really?
And a couple of other things, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Harmonica's not that easy to play. I mean, to do it well.
Yeah, he did it. But he was kind of musical. And, you know, we would up in the Adirondacks hunting, and at night he would play something. Mm-hmm. And
wow, sitting out by the old campfire with the harmonica playing. I would have never expected. I would have never expected you to be out in the forest by a campfire listening to harmonica.
My father had a group of friends that he was in the Army with.
Oh, okay.
And they would get together every year, and we would go to this farmhouse, and there were German people, and they would cook and, you know, make us breakfast, lunch, dinner. They give us a sandwich to take with us. Mm-hmm. We were going out hunting.
Wow.
So no, we spent a lot of time up there.
What'd you hunt for?
Deer. I used to go every year with my father and his army buddies. Mm-hmm. And it would actually.
Sounds dangerous.
Well, it was a period of time where it's kind of interesting, is where I wouldn't screw around.
That was a short period of time.
Yeah, and they were good guys.
Yeah.
I liked it. Mm-hmm. And the hunting and going up the mountains and all over the place. I mean, we went up to Maine. We went to a lot of places, and but mainly we hid in the Catskills, and then of course the Adirondacks. We went on those, and I would behave during those trips.
It's funny the way you say it.
As best I could.
Yeah.
But you know, you're in the middle of the woods. What the hell are you gonna do? I was trying to find my way to town. Oh God! Huh. But it was fun, and it was good, and I used to look forward to it. And you know, most things I would be, taking a left turn, but I did not with that. and not with those guys. They were all like army men from World War II.
Right.
And they were, they were the kind of guys that it could be raining rocks and it wouldn't bother them.
Right.
Nothing would bother them. They thought everything was great because they were all together and they'd cook, and we'd go to the farm, and the woman would be making German food for us, which we all knew and, understood. And it makes me. I think of Zinkler's Bavarian Village once in a while. They're not there; they moved away. But I remember I went it was in Hollywood, and Mrs. Zinkler was there. I went on a Sunday morning. I used to go early to get the stuff. And she goes, "No, that's it. We're done. We're getting out of here."
Wow.
No, they sold it and they left. Well, how many Germans you think were left in the neighborhood?
Right.
Like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever.
There used to be a place, was it called Old Heidelberg? Is that the one on 84?
Well, that one is still there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. That's
the deli you're talking about.
When I was there, it was like a German pub. I mean, they had like a German band and everything. This is something.
That was on. No, you're talking about
it's a little strip on 84, like at 9th.
Oh,
by the National Guard.
I know what you mean. Yeah. I don't think it's
not too far from runway 84.
Yeah, I don't think it's there any longer.
Yeah, it would surprise me.
And the other one was on Federal Highway.
And there was one, wasn't there one on the Hollywood Mall, or is that the one you're talking about? There was one actually.
No, I used to go that way.
Yeah, that was a good place too.
Yeah, it's to get it.
Yeah, German restaurants.
Well, today's topic, German restaurants.
I'm Larry King. I just had a corned beef sandwich from Old Heidelberg, 75th Street in Manhattan. Let's go now to Des Moines.
Yeah, but it was German food is good.
It's a great restaurant. If you're like, what do you want tonight, and you can't think of anything, it's like so out there.
They're still there. There's a couple of them.
I'm sure there's got to be some.
One in like Davie.
Really?
Not far from my and I go there like probably once a month, and
then go home and take a nap.
No.
It's heavy, man, but it's good.
Yeah.
Now you got me hungry.
Yeah. Well, next week I want you to be sure to bring German food.
Right? We should do that.
Kaiser Rippchen.
We should need like catering. This place should just be covered with wings and Footy's wing sauce.
We have.
Like we have a kitchen. I don't know.
We have a chef.
We got a new chef, right? We should break him in. He should start providing.
Yeah, he's always asking me if I want something to eat.
Oh, come on, man. We need to get like.
I eat it. You think I'm going to share with you?
Well, before we started the podcast, we were talking about listening to Jeff DeForest, and I was just thinking about some of the crazy characters, because I love Jeff. I worked with Jeff at QAM. I know you worked in the same building, right? When you were in the waning days of Y100, he was already at 790. But Jeff and I worked together. We did mornings at QAM briefly, and then we worked together at 640 for a while. And
Why couldn't you guys keep a job?
That's my biggest joke, is people say, what stations did you work at in Miami? And I say all of them. But I have lasted a long time at a couple. It's not like
I think you survived.
Yeah, I try not to use that word, but it's pretty spot on. It's pretty amazing to think, because I started playing out in a band when I was 15, and then this job opened up in Fort Pierce at the radio station when I was 16. And it's hard to think, God, because I worked at OVV, IRA, and WAXE, and
I never even heard of it.
Oh, you never will. But so I worked at 3 stations in Fort Pierce, so I was there for like 8 years before I came to Miami. And I was working at.
I started at Y100,
and
I ended
at Y100. And I don't think there's a DJ anywhere The only person that comes close, Tony Segreto, started his TV career at the same TV station and ended at the same TV station. But technically it was still Channel 4, but I don't think it was technically the same station. But we're going to let him have that title because he's Tony Segreto, who's another great South Florida icon.
Wait. You're giving my...
No, I'm saying that technically he started at one Channel 4 and ended at another Channel 4.
He was a newsman.
But I'm just saying he's the only one who comes close to. I don't think there's anybody else in radio who's worked at one station only. Did you have like embarrassing photos of management? Because there was a rumor to that effect for a while.
For what?
There was a rumor that you had embarrassing photos of management.
Get out of here.
I swear to God, somebody was trying.
I'm not a rat.
I'm just asking. I'm not saying.
I didn't squeal on anybody.
That's so funny because
it's against my nature.
As well as I do, the crazy stuff starts floating around. I've heard stories about us that don't have any basis in truth whatsoever.
But you know what?
I've heard.
I stayed on my own road.
Yeah, but people, when you're at the top of what you're doing in an industry, the people that you're thumping really hard take it personally. And so, there were people in the industry that weren't our biggest fans. Not that I give a crap, but, to your point, there was a lot of great people that came up when we came up, and we worked with a lot of great people, but not everybody was rooting for us, buddy.
Well, I didn't give a crap about that.
I didn't either. But I'm just saying, to your point.
Yeah, because every once in a while I get some stupid biker type guy and... I'll play rock and roll,
Right. Well, what I used to always get was that people would, you're, between you and Sonny, you're the real talent. You should go out on your own. You guys
were lucky you had a job.
And I don't know what compelled people. I used to hear that all the time.
Well, all the time. It was probably the same drunken bum.
And I used to say, Mom.
Yeah.
Let it go, Mom.
Yeah. Jesus.
Oh, well, maybe because you were at the same station and you had the forethought to just hang around with friends or pick good friends. But no, there were people that were, especially at the other stations, they weren't really happy with the fact that we were killing them. And we did. I mean, there were some, I was never one of those guys that went to the conventions and stood on the convention floor and bragged about ratings.
Oh, I didn't, never.
9 times out of 10, I didn't even know what the ratings were.
Yeah.
I made it a point to kind of ignore that whole aspect of the industry. I never knew what the rates were. I never knew what they charged for a spot. I made it a point to never, ever know. I mean, every now and then somebody would say, I think one time they charged $250 for one Corvette spot that was 90 seconds. I remember they made a big deal out of that.
Corvette car?
Yeah, when they announced the new Corvette one year, they bought one 90-second spot on every radio station in Miami to run at the exact same time.
I missed it.
But I was never a ratings person. But when the three of us were together at Y100, we dominated this market. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it wasn't just we inched by. I mean, we killed the other radio stations in this market, the three of us.
Well, but we also had a pop station.
And we had a budget to promote. I mean, Tony Novia promoted the crap out of us. We were constantly on TV.
We were also riding a pop station.
Well, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. No,
which didn't bother me at all because I grew up on pop.
Right.
So it wasn't a lot of old timers would be like, I listen to that crap,
Right. Play rock and roll. Where's Freebird, man? Right. Freebird. Playing Zappa.
I would tell him, no, I'm going to play Gloria Estefan. How do you like that?
Oh, gosh.
And Dan Marino is going to come and host the show.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's going to come down to the Moose Lodge and whip up the crowd.
Yeah.
What was I don't even know if you'll remember, of all the appearances and gigs and remotes, and what was the worst? What was the absolute worst appearance you got sent to? Do you even remember? Because probably weren't very many. I don't imagine there were too many bombs.
Yeah, we were.
But like, was there
No,
just
we didn't.
something that didn't fit? Like when the one time they wanted Sonny to sit in a mattress in some mattress store for 4 hours, and he wouldn't do it. But I think there were other things at large. And I remember one time me and Sonny got thrown out of a Mr. Grumps.
What's Mr. Grumps?
It was, it was like a Applebee's, kind of a restaurant bar, and the sales rep talked the guy into a toga party on a weeknight. It was like a Wednesday night. It was the second night of the World Series. There was like a million things that you'd rather be doing than sitting in a sheet in a restaurant in Deerfield Beach. But the sales guy just convinced him, oh, yeah, Sonny and Ron, they'll pack the place.
Sonny got me roped into a deal like that. We went up to like Delray or somewhere.
Uh-huh.
And, he tortured the poor people. It was, he was warming up for an hour and a half, and he, whatever. Come on, Sonny, just play a song here. Just do something for these people.
Right.
But it was really,
Yeah. Well, this one was bad. In fact, Sonny, it was weird because it was supposed to just be Sonny. And then the day of the event, Sonny called me and said, why don't you come do it with me? I'll split the money with you. And I thought, well, that's kind of nice. So we get there, and there's nobody there. There's like 2 people in sheets. There's some guy with an acoustic guitar singing Burl Live songs, whipping the crowd up into a frenzy. And the owner or the manager, whoever he was sitting across from the bar, watching us, just pounding shots all night, just staring at us. And
yeah,
so,
I didn't like to do. I didn't like to do bars.
Yeah, they're not fun. They're not fun. So Sonny finally took enough dagger stares, and he goes, hey, he goes, I'm going to take off. Just get the check.
Oh, great.
And away he goes. So I sit down.
I used to, we were covering the Keys all the time.
Yeah.
We were always down there. That was always a lot of fun.
You know what? The hits, there were far more hits than misses. I'll say that. There every now and then there was the gig. Yeah, when I went and asked that guy for the check, man, the roof just fell down around me. That night was not a good night. We never got paid for that. That was that was such a disaster.
Still bitter over it.
I was still better over it. Yeah, every time I go by that place, I throw paint on it or something.
Yeah, but you were up there in Hicksville.
Yeah, it was up in Deerfield. I think it was Deerfield on Federal Highway.
Yeah, I mean, who's up in Deerfield?
Again, like I said, everybody was watching the World Series. Nobody was certainly going to be at a toga party.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the 2 guys that wanted to watch you didn't even watch you.
Right. The 2 guys that showed up in sheets were watching the World Series.
I never would do that. I wouldn't I wouldn't put on some stupid outfit.
Right.
To entertain some schmuck from Deerfield.
Hi, we've decided to show up at a restaurant, and you're the entertainment. Yeah. Well, Sonny had that what he called the Mad Mumble Mouth machine. Remember, it was that tape recorder he had with the delay on it. They had the script that we would make people read, and you'd hear yourself slow down in the headphones, and you'd talk like you were drunk. That was a real crowd pleaser.
God, I was never in on that.
You know what used to be, people loved it, and you know what used to amaze me, talking about remotes and people lining up? The prize wheel. Did you guys have one of those?
Oh yeah, we had.
I could not believe the amount of time people would stand in a line.
It's free.
To spin a stupid prize wheel for like a keychain or a refrigerator magnet.
Yeah, but that makes sense. They're at the event, whatever, and
I just really
get something for it.
They would line up.
Yeah. The keychain.
Remember? Keychains and refrigerator magnets. I always thought refrigerator magnets were
We were
cool.
giving away cars.
Yeah, not on the prize wheel you weren't. But that was one of the things, and I to this day think of David Ross as the P.T. Barnum of radio. Man, we gave away cars. We not just one, but 4. Remember that? We gave away those 4 Mazda RX-7s, the pace car for the Grand Prix, and also the we gave away a house.
No.
What?
Preston Hen gave Dave the car to give away.
Well, we gave away tons of cars. I mean, but we did give away the RX-7 pace car. I'm sure we probably did something with Preston until that.
Oh, you did.
Until that blew up. I didn't know he provided a car. But I know
he was racing a car.
They were racing, him and Danny Sullivan and AJ Foyt.
Afterwards, he would, hang around, drive around.
Right. He was fun to hang around with.
Oh, I like Preston. I came home one day, and they told me that AJ Foyt called and wants me to call him. And I'm like, AJ Foyt? And I called, and it was Preston with AJ, because he's the sponsor.
Right.
And he sent a helicopter to the golf course across from my house for me to go up there with them. And I ended up going up there drinking and
oh my God,
whatever else. Yeah.
Wow.
But I liked Preston, and I liked,
That was a fun time. I was kind of sad to see that go because Preston had a car in the Grand Prix of Miami, and AJ, and I think Danny Sullivan, was the second driver, right?
Yeah.
And so AJ was around the station, and AJ, I think Danny Sullivan.
I saw AJ Foyt at a car dealership off I-95 in Fort Lauderdale, and I went in, and he was there, and he had a dog, because he needed a dog to get around.
Wow.
And I said, AJ, what have you been doing? Man? He was filthy rich. People didn't realize it, but he was.
Preston too.
And he was, and he was quite a piece of work, even to the end.
He was that old school NASCAR driver. It's not like that now. Those, like you said, those guys used to weigh 200.
I don't think you can tone down the NASCAR. Right?
Well, those guys like AJ Foyt and all those old timers weighed 300 pounds and swilling beer, like you said, the night before the race, and they all smoked cigarettes. And now all the NASCAR drivers are 5'2", and they weigh like 100 pounds soaking wet. And they're Harvard grads, and they're aerodynamics engineers, and they drink. Gets me. They drink Gatorade all day. And, it's a different.
I prefer the old. Crap.
Yeah. Well, and even football and baseball. I can remember. I can never remember his name. The coach, the Marlins coach, that was a chain smoker. He'd sit in the dugout and
what's his name? I can't remember. Yeah,
he's the one I hugged. Walter? No, not Walter. Can't think of his name, but there were a couple times where he got real savvy because he could tell he was watching the TV cameras, and he knew when the red light was on the one in front of him that they were going to get a shot of him, and so he would duck into the dugout. So they'd go to that shot of supposed to be the coach, and it would just be a cloud of smoke, where he just took a quick left. Even the old ball players and football players, those guys were.
The Dolphins in the locker room.
Right.
They was smoking.
So, speaking of that, did you watch the Dolphin preseason game on Sunday? Or no, Saturday? It was very interesting. I guess Channel 4 put together their own team because it was Goldstein. It was Steve Goldstein. And Jason Taylor in the booth, and Kim Bocamper was down on the sidelines. He's another great guy, man. Kim Bocamper. Is he like the nicest guy in the whole world, or what?
He can get that streak going.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If you annoy him,
right?
Okay, I never annoyed him. But
No, I never annoyed any of those guys that I knew of.
Just with some, you know who did it? Mean Mike. Remember Mean Mike, the wrestler? No, he came up and he did like a routine with Bo. You know, like a wrestling thing. And Bo's looking at me like, who's this idiot? No, he threw him out of the ring.
Bo did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Bo's nobody to
Well,
fool with.
no, I mean, he's a football player.
No, but he's just kid.
But he has all, yeah.
Yeah, he's not afraid to throw you through the window.
Well, none of those, you don't become a great football player if you give in to fear.
Yeah. that's
You
true.
know, those guys are not exactly lacking in the confidence department.
Yeah.
And when you're that size, and even at our advancing age, he's in great shape. He could kill probably either one of us with a beer in his other hand. But
Yeah.
I worked with him at QAM when I worked there with Defoe, and I thought Kim was a super nice guy.
He was. Until you pissed him off.
Until you pissed him off. And I don't get Goldie haters. I don't understand why there are so many people that can't stand Steve Goldstein. It's like the Joe Buck thing.
Yeah,
What is that? You know?
I don't know.
He's great. He's prepared. He does his homework. He knows everything that's going on.
Yeah, why did the general population hate him?
I don't know. And it's you know what? Maybe it goes back to Neil, because Neil used to dump on him all the time. You know, maybe that's where it started. I don't know. I don't get it, because I think he's the consummate sports guy. I mean,
Boring.
Well, I tell you what, Jason should have laid back a couple of times. I mean, I love you, Jason. Don't hurt me.
Jason who?
Jason Taylor was doing. It was like they were talking too much. You know what I mean? There's times to let like the broadcast breathe. It's like in music. You're not always playing.
Yeah,
Sometimes
but you're
let the song
a
breathe.
broadcasting nut. You know, most people.
I just don't. If I was going to pick apart anything, I would just say that there needed to be some space. But Goldie's, I think,
Next week on the show,
on Sports Talk,
Ron Hershey,
Stephen J.
140 years old, is going to give you how to put together a concert band that will play at a carnival.
A carnival.
And just playing at a carnival on New Year's weekend.
Well, listen, we want to thank all of you for watching our footy podcasts, and we appreciate the comments. Don't be afraid to comment. It's great to hear from so many of our old radio buddies who are now scattered across the country, and also residents of the federal government's Gray Bar Hotel. No, we're just kidding about that part. Just made that part up. But it's good to hear from our friends in radio.
There was a couple in here.
There are a couple. Yeah, we should talk about that. But anyway, so thank you for the comments. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the views. Make sure you click on the bell so we can notify you when there is a new podcast. Make sure you buy footy sauce, footy hot sauce, and footy wing sauce. Every penny goes to all the great work being done here to help young men have a victory over their substance issues and find a replacement life and get on to be productive members of society. We could sure use them. We need the help. Oh, my.
Have you been introduced to Footy Sauce? Footy Sauce makes it easy to give ordinary chicken wings extraordinary flavor. Footy Wing Sauce is made with a perfect blend of herbs and spices. So what are you waiting for? Pour it on. Footy's Wing Sauce guarantees you a better tasting chicken wing every single time. When you fire up the grill, pour it on. Let Footy be your wingman. Kick your next party up a notch with Footy Sauce. Grab Footy's Wing Sauce and pour it on.
So thanks for watching, and we'll be back again very soon. Probably every week we would like to get these out with another footy podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Footy Podcast. To benefit, here's help. For more information about the Footy Podcast or Here's Help, contact us at 305-685-8201. If you need help or know someone who has a substance abuse or alcohol problem, you can call our admissions office at 305-685-8201, extension 224. If you'd like to make a cash donation to Here's Help and join the fight against drug abuse, call Footy at 305-685-8201, extension 227. The executive producer of the Footy Podcast is Sam Zacco. COO of Here's Help.